Welcome to the inaugural edition of Odds Honest Truth. My name is Craig Orbanoff. Some of you may know me better as Producer Craig, or maybe DJ Unstable if you listen to Peter Thomas Fornatel on the In the Money Media Network, which is where you're listening to us right now on In the Money Media. Again, my name is Producer Craig Orbanoff, whatever you want to call me. You can follow me on Twitter at Seagorbs94. I'm joined by my right-hand man. If you were joining us from previous iterations of our sports podcast, you know him, you love him. He's Rich Wilhelm at Coda522. Rich, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on another show. Completely different show this time around, which it makes me glad that we're going to win some money. So let's do it.
Absolutely. So if you're joining us from previous versions of this show, or if you're a fan of it in the Money Media, this is 100% sports betting. All we're talking about is how you can make money every single week with NFL, college football, and then we'll see what happens when NBA season rolls around. But for right now, it is all football all the time. Alan Studer from Around the Turn and the Stewcast will be joining us a little later on with some of his best plays in the NCAA for week 2. And Rich and I are going to be discussing some prop bets for end of the year, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year on the college team. And then we'll have some best bets coming up this week for the NFL. Let us know your plays at Odds Honest Truth. You can find us on Twitter, or again, these are our personal handles right below if you're watching on YouTube. So without further ado, Rich, let's dive right in and let's talk about the offensive rookies of the year. Take us through some of the odds and who you like to win this award.
So, I mean, for me, this kind of comes down to 5 people. This comes down to Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Najee Harris, and I guess Kyle Pitts. I mean, if you're looking at these rookies, you know, there's 3 really big head honcho quarterbacks that are starting, week 1. You do have, you have Lance, and then you have Fields, who might start as the season goes on, but week 1, they're not going to be there. So it's going to hurt their chances. Looking at odds, Trevor Lawrence is plus 400 right now, which means $25 will win you $125. Mac Jones is plus 600, which means 25 will win you 175. Zach Wilson is plus 750, which means 25 wins 212.50. Najee Harris, who, spoiler alert, that's my pick, plus 850, which means $25 is going to win you 237.50, and then Kyle Pitts is plus 1,000, which means 25 wins you 275. The reason why I'm going Najee Harris is because I think the quarterbacks are going to cancel each other out. It's going to be a race the entire year. Who's having a better year? Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. Obviously, they're going to be, the be-all, end-all for their teams. But Najee Harris is just going to eat. I mean, he doesn't have to be the guy that, every play it's dependent on him. He has a team with a proven quarterback and 3 stud wide receivers and even a tight end that can catch the ball every now and then. And then on the other side of the ball, there's a defense there in the Pittsburgh Steelers that is top 5 in the NFL. He's going to get the ball back a lot. They're going to feed him. He's the only running back worth anything on that team. He can catch the ball. So I think at the end of the year, you're going to say, oh, these 3 quarterbacks did well, but Najee Harris, he's in the Pro Bowl. He's leading the Steelers into the playoffs. And the Steelers, I mean, this might be Big Ben's final year. It's going to be his farewell tour, and I think Najee Harris is a really good piece for that. Looking at Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars are a team that are rebuilding, and they have the coaching staff that's not that great, and they're in a division that's very, very hard. It's going to be hard for him year 1. Out of the quarterbacks, I think, when it's all said and done, he probably will be the best quarterback out of the group. Mac Jones, go ahead.
I think you brought up a good point for Trevor Lawrence. I think he is the most talented for sure, but I think just given the status of that offense, the status of the offensive line, I'm very surprised that he's the favorite, right, amongst these people to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I get that he was the number 1 overall pick, but he just seems to be working with so much less than everyone else that it's, to me, the odds don't really make sense. And I think it's worth pointing out, we got all these odds from DraftKings Sportsbook, which in our research we found to have kind of the most friendliest odds for the bettor. We'll talk about some interesting intro offers for some people who maybe aren't involved with an ADW yet. That you can get some free money to play with throughout the NFL season. But I think that Trevor Lawrence doesn't make any sense to bet this. You were about to get into Mac Jones, and that's where my gut is telling me that he'll probably end up winning. And maybe that's because we're both beats. We're both Jets fans, and a rookie QB in New England is scary. We got fortunate last year that Cam Newton wasn't the savior of the New England franchise, but there's this like sinking feeling in my gut that Mac Jones is going to step in and be Tom Brady again. And I think there's some pretty good value there for him. And I think there's a scenario where he could become Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, plus the Patriots have a really solid defense. So he's going to get the ball back a ton. He was teaching Cam Newton the playbook. He's a very smart guy. He's coming from a pro-style offense in Alabama, and Bill Belichick seems to love the guy. His teammates are rallying around him. He has all the intangibles to be, the heir apparent to Tom Brady. As a Jet fan, I hope he isn't. But, smart money, he's my number 2 on the list. I like to gamble a little bit. That's why I'm going Najee.
Well, Najee is too, like, he's fantasy football gold. Everyone's targeting him. Like, I think it makes a ton of sense. I think it's arguably the safest bet in terms of some of the top guys listed here to actually get Rookie of the Year, and he has the best odds. I think we'd be remiss to not talk about our guy, Zach Wilson, who had a very good-looking training camp. And I'll say for the Jets, they did a great job of beefing up that offensive line, I know Carl Lawson was destroying the Jets O-line every day in training camp, but it's a pretty good offensive line, and they looked pretty good in the preseason. He looked very good against the Packers in his possessions. And I feel like I'm not getting too ahead of myself, but he looks very talented. And I think that of the quarterbacks, he's looked the best in the preseason, in my opinion. And I'm a homer. You can call me a homer. That's fine. But I think he looks really good. I think the team is pretty talented around him. He has a lot of weapons. There's a lot of wide receivers. The offensive line looks pretty good. The defense, to me, is a little questionable in the secondary and the back end. I think he'll be in a lot of shootouts. I think he'll have the opportunity to put up big numbers. Whether or not he does it is like kind of the question. But I think those are pretty decent odds, and I think he's going to have to sling it if the Jets are going to want to win football games.
Yeah, this is the first time in a long time that the offense has to pick up the defense. The Jets opening roster, they're starting 12 rookies. So, I mean, it's definitely a youth movement. I feel like if you're 24 on that team, you're too old. So, he definitely has the talent around him. That defense is going to be super questionable, and they're going to get burned like toast, early and often. But, and that's the only reason why. I mean, he's not going to get the ball back a ton. I don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers on that Jets defense, but like you said, it's going to be a shootout. So that's why he's so, high on that list. He would be my 3, honestly. I would have him, right behind Mac Jones if I was betting it. And he'd be ahead of Trevor Lawrence for me. Kyle Pitts is kind of like, obviously we needed a 5th guy that, on this list to make it interesting. There's no chance that Kyle Pitts is going to be, offensive rookie of the year unless he's Tony Gonzalez. He has to literally be Julio. He has to take all of Julio's points, which, I mean, he might. He's definitely the second receiving option on that team now. But yeah, I think it's going to be Najee versus Mac, first blood match. But I'm picking Najee, you're picking Mac. So I mean, we definitely have a separation here, which is exactly what I wanted when we made this list.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mac. I think that the inner Jets fan in me can't see a scenario in which Bill Belichick cut Cam Newton and this guy isn't the real deal. So that's where we're heading for offensive rookie of the year. We have a slightly smaller list here for defensive rookie of the year, and then we'll hear from our NCAA expert Alan Studer on some games going on around the country. But Rich, why don't you break down the top selections here for defensive rookie of the year?
So for defensive rookie of the year, I kept it simple. I listed 3 guys, and obviously, as the year goes on, we can kind of see if we should have added more. But the 3 main guys, Mike Parsons from Dallas, plus 600. $25 wins you $175. Kwity Paye from the Colts plus $1,200, $25 wins $325. And then J.C. Horn from the Panthers plus $1,400, $25 wins $375. And that is my pick, which is that's a good chunk of change for $25. There's a lot of reasons why I picked J.C. Horn. Obviously, the pedigree. His dad, Joe Horn, played in, the NFL. He's got it in his blood. He seems very, poised in the draft. He jumped every other cornerback in that draft. Panthers picked him very high. They needed offensive line help, and instead they wanted, J.C. Horn because of how talented he is. He's killing it, so far in camp. But my biggest reason, and this is not anything because I'm a Jets fan, but Sam Darnold is playing on that offense, and he likes to give the ball away a lot. So I think that J.C. Horn is going to have a lot more series on defense to kind of show his grit. He's going to have a lot more chances for interceptions. He's going to have a lot of more chances for tackles and fumbles, which is, let's just go into the, bet. Obviously, we're talking about defensive rookie of the year, but Sam Darnold plus 750. $25 wins $212 for most interceptions. So that's just a little combo bet there. But
you can almost parlay them if they'd let you.
I would do it in a second. It's kind of, if one happens, the other has a good chance. But yeah, J.C. Horn's definitely my pick for defensive rookie of the year. Micah Parsons is playing on Thursday, so we're going to see him first. But we get to see my guy against our team week 1.
I'm actually going to go with Kwity Paye to win defensive rookie of the year. He's looked incredible all preseason long. He's the highest graded rookie defender according to Pro Football Focus. I think he plays on a talented team. He plays in a pretty complete defense. He doesn't necessarily have to do it alone. So because of that, I think he can shine, and I think that I don't know. I think he'll be able to get after some quarterbacks and make a bit of a splash. So that's where I'm going to go. But really, I wouldn't go with anyone on Dallas to win anything. I don't know why. That team is like made out of paper. Everyone gets injured all the time.
Honestly, I would bet Dak to be the comeback player of the year, but we didn't do that this episode. But we'll
right.
see what happens on Thursday. If he lights it up, we might have to see what we missed out on. But I don't know. I like Dallas this year. Just look at that division. Like, who's in that division?
Exactly. If they can stay healthy, it's their division to lose for sure. But that's been a big if for the last couple of seasons now. So they're gonna have to prove it. That's a whole division, and we'll get into that maybe in a later week, and what we can maybe throw some bets as to who's gonna win the divisions. But for now, let's throw things on over to Alan Studer. He broke down 3 games around the country for NCAA football. Alan, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Alan Studer here, host of the Stewcast and host of Around the Turn here on the In the Money Media YouTube network. Got 3 games for you. College football week 2. Let's get started off quick and hot. We're going to head out to Michie Stadium, home of the Army Black Knights, as they take on the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky. In this game, I really like Western Kentucky plus 133 on the money line, and the over in this game, 54.5. Look, Bailey Zapp is a guy you need to know. Western Kentucky is going to be a fun team to follow this year. This offense lights it up. He brings over his OC and his top 3 wideouts from Houston Baptist, all of which last year produced a phenomenal record against D1 opponents through the year. Last week, they just pick up where they left off. 7 touchdowns against UT Martin. Army coming off a great game against Georgia State. This is a game that's going to be a real clash of styles. Army wants to run that triple option, control time of possession. However, Western Kentucky's defense, run defense especially, not really exciting. And so I see Army getting points here, and they're going to score pretty quickly. But just as quickly, Bailey Zapp is going to throw 40 to 45 times, maybe even 50, hit that 50 benchmark. And that's something I don't think Army can really handle. And these service academies generally can't. You look at Navy, what happened to them against Marshall this week. I think that is a perfect setup and a perfect opportunity where a lot of games went under week 1. I think you see a lot more games go over week 2. Western Kentucky money line and the over is my plays in that game. Next, we're going to head up to Connecticut, where UConn hosts Purdue. This is just sheerly a play based on you have the worst team in college football playing a decent team out of the Big Ten West in Purdue. This is 32.5. Jump on it now. Get some CLV, some closing line value, generate that for yourself, because by the time this goes to kickoff, I think the market will push it closer to that 40-point mark. UConn feels like they've given up. Randy Edsall today saying that he is going to retire at the end of the season. It's a play against how bad they are. So 32.5, give me the Boilermakers. And finally, another Service Academy game. And I tell people all this all the time. When you have two service academies playing each other, when the triple option goes against each other all the time, the under is the play. Always bet the under. The under in Air Force Navy, 44.5. Take that under. These two offenses, they only know one way to go. The defenses see this every single practice. They know how to defend it. This is a perfect setup. What Army Navy always goes under 18 out of the last 20 years. Same applies to Army Air Force. Same applies to Navy Air Force. Give me the under. And let's start off the week hot. We got 4 picks for you again. Hilltoppers money line over 54.5 in that game. Purdue laying the 32.5 and the under in Air Force Navy. Folks, good luck. And let's catch some tickets this week.
All right. Thanks so much, Al. Rich and I back here talking about our best bets this week around the NFL. Rich, why don't you go first? Why don't you tell us what game you're going to play your money in?
I mean, for me, all my money is on the Chargers this week. They're -1, which means $25 gives you 47.72. Spoiler alert, I'm going to go a little more than 25. If I'm looking at the Chargers this year, they are a sleeper Super Bowl team for me. The way that they're built with Justin Herbert and Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and the defense is getting a lot better. The coaching is all new. I think the Chargers, the sky's the limit. Justin Herbert is going to be a top 5 quarterback pretty soon. I mean, if he's not already, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. So for me, you're looking at the football team. There's a lot of question marks there. You got Fitzmagic as the quarterback, which he always does random things. He's going to throw for 4 touchdowns probably, but he'll throw for 4 interceptions as well. I love the coaching in Washington, but the Chargers, I think, are going to run away with this one. So -1 is definitely a spread that I'm going to go heavy on this week.
One spread, Rich, that I found very, very interesting, and call me a homer again, but I think the Jets spread is just downright disrespectful. I don't think the Panthers are a very good team at all. I think the Jets offensively have looked very exciting. I think trading for Shaq Lawson was huge. And I think that the Jets are just a better team than the Panthers are this season. They're +5.5. But odds-wise, I would just take them straight money line to beat the Panthers. It's +205, $25 to get you 76.25. I think Zach Wilson is looking really good, like we talked about earlier in the program. But I don't trust Sam Darnold. I don't think he's going to take care of the football. I'm sure he's looking for revenge. I'm sure he'd love to put on a good show. I just don't think he's going to do it, and I don't think the Panthers' defense is all that great either. So I'm taking the New York Jets +205 money line to beat the Panthers this week, NFL Week 1. Rich, before we wrap things up, and this is the best part about not having a sponsor, is we can talk about whatever ADW we want. So for anyone who has not signed up yet to bet on the NFL, to bet on NCAA football, or even maybe they're signed up on 1ADW and they don't know about these offers, where can some people get some free money this week?
I mean, there's a lot of free money to be had this week. Everyone kind of wants you to bet on this Bucks and Cowboys game. The best one I found so far is on Caesars. You can bet up to $52. They're going to double your money to $104. The only thing that has to happen is the Bucs need to score 1 point. So unless something happens to Brady and, everyone else on that team, I think there's going to be a point to be had. So that one was really fun. Caesars also has this fun thing where if you bet $100, they give you a promo code for a free jersey on NFLshop.com up to $150, which is really cool. DraftKings has the same bet. It's only up to $25 though. And the Buccaneers have to lose by less than 73, I believe, is the bet, or at least when I bet it. So you're going to start, if you want to do two, you'll start with 104 on one and 50 on the other. If you just want to stick to one, Caesars is the way to go this week. You get $104 and you can go crazy betting $25 bets that we're going to give you. You at least got four of them.
Yeah, there you go. And another a good way to kind of cycle through it and get really good offers by your location. I don't know if we should be plugging another website. Pete can yell at me later. But if you go to the Action Network, right on the front page, there's a promo spot, and you can filter by whatever state you're in that allows sports gambling, and you can find kind of the best offers that make sense for you. So for finding your offers, right, head to the Action Network. For all your analysis on all things handicapping, sports, horses, or otherwise, head on over to inthemoneypodcast.com. Subscribe here to the In the Money Media podcast. This is the main feed you're listening to on, and then we'll set up our own Odds Honest Truth podcast feed, probably for next week's show if I can get off my lazy butt and do it. Pete keeps me busy all week. You can follow the show on Twitter at Odds Honest Truth with all kinds of plays as odds change heading into the week. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Seagorps94, at Coda522, or you can follow Alan at Stucast, I believe. Pretty sure it's just at Stucast. I should probably confirm that, but if I didn't, sorry, Alan. It's on me. This has been this is the first edition of Odds Honest Truth on the In the Money Media podcast. Again, my name is producer Craig. Thank you so much to Alan. Thank you so much to Rich. Thank you so much to Peter Thomas Fornatel and Jonathan Kinchin and the business manager, Drew Coatney. I'm not as good as hosting as Pete, but he has a lot more practice than I do, so we'll get there. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week.